come from, coulda up, you coulda down, blessings on my nation. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. This city can't hold me, my vibe's too high, and my heart it told me jump right now, you will touch the sky. Feel my love unfolding like a laughing flame. All who did not know me when not done, they gon' know the name. Million people coming down, dancing to a song. Love is life and life is love, blessings from above. Can you feel the love that's in the air? Well, if you feel it, let me hear you say, dancing, moving, grooving everywhere. If you feel it, let me hear you say, na 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 na. Hey, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Eh na 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 na. Can you feel the love that's in the air? Dancing, moving, moving Take me to the river, take me to the sea. Wash over me music, wash over me. Take me to the river, take me to the river. Wash over me music, wash over me.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, students from high schools and persons from the working world. It's really a pleasure to welcome you to the Faculty of Social Sciences information session this evening. We are very happy to have you, and you're in for a real rich information session. So welcome again to the UWI, the Caribbean #1 ranked university, ranked among the top 2% best universities in the Caribbean and Latin America, and ranked among the world 4% top best universities in the world. We are really very happy to have you sharing with us today. So as a university, we are tasked with preparing persons not only for personal gain, but also for our world, for the island, for the Caribbean, and for the world. So as you're here this afternoon, we have persons from the Faculty of Social Sciences who will be sharing with you the rich information on weekend program and others, and Dr. Ricketts will tell you about that a little bit later. Now, we are here and we would love for you to be applying to the University of the West Indies. Hence, we are going to share with you the information that's required for you to be able to come in. So how do you get to the University of the West Indies? There are two ways of preparing. One, you have to prepare by having your academic requirements, and two, you have to prepare financially. And so we are going to share with you that information this afternoon. To get to the University of the West Indies, the requirements are 5 subjects. Now, you can get in at 2 levels. You can get in at the lower level for a 4-year program, or you can get in for the 3-year program if you have double units of CAPE, 5 subjects in total, including your double units of CAPE. And so you're able to to get in that line. Now, what are the requirements? We're particularly talking about the UII. And overall, so your 5 subjects, depending on what you want to study, you really need to have specific subjects. But for the Faculty of Social Sciences, their main requirements are mathematics and English language. And so with your mathematics and English language and 3 other subjects, 2 at the advanced level, or just 5 overall, you can get into the social sciences depending on the area. Those are the basic requirements for the social sciences. If you want to do other areas in the university, maybe like medicine and the sciences, then you will be required to have the requisite sciences to be able to get into those programs. Now, application is open and we are in you to apply to the university. So how do you apply? You apply by going on to the website, the www.uii, and you can just look in and say apply, or you can go in and you have your, so here we are, or you can have your www.mona.uii.edu/apply. Now, for persons who are in the working world, you would be required to submit your documents to the UII for them to sign off on those documents. If you're in high school, then we ask you to have your teachers, your guidance counselor, your principal's office, we would want them to sign off that they have seen the original. Now, we know some of you have some challenges this year in terms of getting your papers for the CAPE that you sat or the CSEC that you sat in 2020. Not a problem. Once you know the grades, put them into the application, submit. When you get your certificate, then you can have your school stamp it and submit to us. If, however, you are a person who is working, you've already gotten your CSEC and your CAPE, then you will need to scan make a copy of your document and take the original and copy to us at the UII, to the admission section, and they will sign off on it for you. No JPs. We do not take the signature of JPs. You can also go to a branch of the open campus. Let's say also you're in Montego Bay. You can drop off your documents. You can have it go to the Western Jamaica campus to have it signed off there for you, but no JP for the signing of our documents. And students for you, only their school can sign off for you. Now, in completing the application, you need to fill out all of those areas that have the red asterisk. Yes, so those must be. You need a valid email address because that is how we are going to be communicating with you in the future. If you did an associate degree or you did you completed a teacher's college certificate, those can be used as well. We need transcripts for those. Completed transcripts, so you ask the institution to send the transcripts direct to the admission section so that they can use that, but no JP signing anything for you. Now, those of you who cannot find your CC or your CAPE, it burn up in the fire, or your child or your sister throw water on it and it can't be used, no problem. Go to the overseas exam and ask them to send a transcript directly to us. It's just that it's going to be a little more costly, but they send it directly to admissions. You don't have to put a name, just the admission section at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, and you'll be able to submit. All right, so that's part there for the application. We want you to remember that. If you do have any questions, then we will want you to send them to us. You can put some in the chat and we will give you some addresses and email addresses and some phone number at the end. Now remember, I said to you 2 things you need to be thinking about when you're applying to the university: how you're going to pay and what are the requirements. So we tell you the requirements already. You have 5 subjects and 2 or more at the advanced level, or you have 5 subjects, including mathematics and English. If you want to come into the social sciences, then there you are. We're giving you some options here, some forms of payments for those who are in high school and you're not working. You can look at some of these options that are there. The university also have some payment plan, but you have to know how you are going to be paying for your tuition in the meantime. There are institution banks that will lend you monies to fund your education, but of course there is good students loan that we invite you to go and check them out, and their application open next month. Okay, so these are some of the options that you have. Now, the UWI, there are 8 faculties, but particularly we are paying attention to the social sciences. So this time I'm going to invite Dr. Ricketts, who I know has a lot to share with you. Oh, thank you, Seymour. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we put something for you for the tuition fee that you might be expecting. So for the weekend program, you can pay per course. You have a miscellaneous fee, and they will tell you how many courses you need to do, and you'll hear, so you can put it. So those are per course. You can take a shot of that, and this will also be available on the web. But particularly for the social sciences overall, if you're going to do a full-time degree, then you have $287,000 for the year, and you can pay it in 2 installments, one in August and the next half in January. And of course, there's one for the political leadership strategy and management. Again, you can have option in how you pay for that. And here are some numbers again for some of us who are in the recruiting department, and some of my colleagues are here. Here are the names, and you can write us and we will respond to you quickly, especially now the application period is on. So I am going to hand over to the Faculty of Social Sciences now, because it is their afternoon, and I know Dr. Ricketts is ready to share with you. Dr. Heather Ricketts is a sociologist. She's a deputy dean in the Faculty of Social Sciences. And I'm going to hand over to Dr. Ricketts now for her to share with you and to introduce her team and to introduce the Faculty of Social Sciences to you. Dr. Ricketts.
Thank you, Mrs. Bolero Horton. Good evening, all prospective students, interested persons, parents, students even. Let me warmly welcome you to our Faculty of Social Sciences information session titled Best Degree Options for You. So this evening, we want to showcase our weekend programs. And our weekend programs offer a very convenient way of studying for various numbers of degrees offered in our faculty. We also want to showcase for you some of the programs which might not get the kinds of publicity as programs such as management or marketing or accounting or psychology or even economics might get, but they are just as important to the society, and they are absolutely critical for the functioning of our countries. So these programs we are highlighting this evening are political leadership, strategy and management, political science, public policy and management, and international relations, programs offered by the Department of Government. And then we are also highlighting from the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work, the Sociology program, the Labor and Employment Relations program, Social Policy and Development, Demography, and Anthropology programs. Before I introduce my colleagues and tell you a little bit about the faculty, I just want to use the example of COVID-19 just to show you a little bit of how the programs that we will be showcasing this afternoon find their relevance. So you know we are all in this current COVID-19 pandemic, and we have read how the pandemic has exacerbated and highlighted the various forms of social inequality in the society. So the discipline of sociology, for example, would prepare a student to be able to assess and to analyze the impact of COVID-19 on the lives of individuals. Also, sociology would help students appreciate the social determinants of health and health outcomes. And we've seen a lot of those kinds of studies out of the US and the UK. I don't know how many of you have noticed but President Biden's very recent appointment was of sociologist Alondra Nelson. She's a bioethics and social inequality expert, and she has just been appointed by President Biden as the Deputy Director of Science and Society at the White House's Office of Science and Technology Policy. Dr. Nelson, as a sociologist, studies the social impacts of emerging technology as well as racism in science and medicine. So here we see a very practical example of a sociologist finding a very good job, landing a very good job, and finding her space in this current environment. Anthropology, for example, would help with an appreciation of how culture impacts on people's perceptions and responses to the pandemic, their perceptions, for example, about the vaccine, and the beliefs about home remedies and home remedies value or importance in stemming the COVID-19 pandemic. Demographers as well would be interested in the impact of the pandemic on population growth and on fertility and mortality rates. Public and social policy specialists would be interested in government and state responses to the pandemic, particularly how the structures and programs that are put in place help to cushion the negative effects and the overall management of the pandemic. With international relations, earlier last year, we saw the important role that IR played, international relations played, in the management of the repatriation process as Jamaicans wanted to return home from places where they had been. So we see very clearly some of the examples of ways in which these disciplines are very, very important in this present context. Before I introduce my colleagues who will tell you more about these programs, I want to tell you a little bit about the Faculty of Social Sciences at Mona. So this year, we are celebrating 60 years as a teaching faculty. So we have a big celebration called FSS at 60 in this current academic year. It means that we have existed longer than Jamaica has been independent, longer than most of us have even lived, and longer than CARICOM and even the European Union. We are also the largest faculty across the UE campuses. At Mona, we teach about 40% of the current enrollment. The faculty has a very long legacy of leadership, public service, and advocacy. A couple of our prime ministers in the Caribbean are university graduates. Even our own current prime minister is a UWI Faculty of Social Sciences graduate. Dr. Peter Phillips, former opposition leader, another UE social science graduate. And in fact, he taught in the Faculty of Social Sciences. Our first children's advocate, Mrs. Mary Clark, another graduate of the faculty in social work. Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, another graduate of the International Relations Program. You would also know of Senator Floyd Morris, who is a member of the Jamaican Senate. He's been for a number of years, and he was very recently appointed to a only nine members of the UN Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, a very prestigious appointment. And we have a number of ambassadors, including the current ambassador to Japan, Ambassador Shauna K. Richards, and former ambassador to Brazil, Ambassador Alison Stone Roof. We also have, even among us here, Dr. Herbert Gale, who many of you would hear on radio. You see him writing in the newspapers. He's a violence expert, and he is an anthropologist. And then also Dr. Damian King, very active on social media, and the director of the Caribbean Policy Research Institute. Just some of the persons who I am highlighting as former graduates and also current members of the faculty. So we have had very many eminent scholars we have produced who have helped us shape the growth of an independent Jamaica and also the Caribbean. So with that said, Let me now introduce my colleagues who will introduce their programs and speak far more, providing far more information than I am able to do. So from the Department of Government, I want you to welcome very warmly Dr. Eleanor Henry, who will speak on political leadership, strategy, and management. Then she will hand over to Mr. Howard Reed, who will speak on the political science program. Then Mr. Damian Gordon, who will tell you about public policy and management, that program. And then Mr. Jean-Pierre Murray and Mr. Glenville McLeod, who will speak on international relations. After they speak, I will then introduce the team from the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. So let me hand over to Dr. Eleanor Henry. Dr. Henry, muted.
Unmute. You need to unmute your mic.
Thanks. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and special welcome to our prospective students. In the limited time available, I want to essentially whet your appetite and share with you a little bit about the program, political leadership, strategy, and management. So for starters, as Dr. Ricketts indicated, the program is part of the offerings of the Department of Government. And one of the main goals of the department is to develop a cadre of individuals who are able to tackle some of the existing problems in the emerging government, businesses, societal related challenges, and to proffer relevant innovative solutions. The course offerings of the department represent a broad and changing spectrum of innovative interests, backgrounds, and approaches that will appease the interests of a number of persons while offering the possibility for several career options. The department boasts a diverse faculty that has a wide range of experience in training and expertise, commercial and otherwise. The department also boasts a rich legacy of scholarship, public service. Dr. Ricketts named quite a few persons who are well known in public service who are products of the Department of Government. Significant student achievement, high levels of research, quite a bit of teaching and leadership. The question you would ask is, why study political leadership, strategy, and management? And there are a number of good reasons. First of which, you can develop core competencies and problem-solving skills so that you can effectively integrate and meaningfully contribute to the work environment and to society in general. It helps you to add robust texture to your knowledge base and to your awareness of matters related to our democratic process. It also reflects the university's focus on producing rounded graduates that are easily integrated into the world of work. It helps to equip you with the theories, methods, and approaches of leadership, strategy, and management by integrating what for us is a critical component of the program. It is an internship phase. So the students are sent into the workplace and they are afforded the opportunity to have a practical aspect of the course. Because of the practicum as well, it affords the opportunity to apply what the student has learned and to gain important work experience. And it emphasizes the applied dimension of the learning process. So it's not just about theories and policies, it is how these are applied, and the student benefits from real-time application through the internship phase. So the question you might ask again is, how do I use this course? The information from the course assists you with your own personal decision making. I mentioned before, you can participate directly in the democratic process. It helps with public policy analysis. You have hands-on participation in how our country is run, because invariably a lot of our graduates find themselves in politics. It's good in terms of international relations, handling crises, research, in planning and decision making. And question you also may ask is, how do I get there? The program is a 3-year duration if you're going the full-time option, and 5 years if you're doing the part-time option, and you are awarded at the end of your studies a BSc in political science. The delivery mode is online, and I'm sure by the time you register and we are past the phase of COVID, there will also be a face-to-face component. I mentioned earlier the issue of leadership internship, and I just want to explain that it is a 1-month assignment of the student in a public or private sector organization where they are supervised. And at the end of the assignment, the supervisor completes an evaluation form about the student and how they adapted to the work environment. And the student is required to present a report on how the experience assisted them in their application of the knowledge that they learned. Some of the course offerings: political leadership is one of the main courses, political psychology, political marketing and communication, political leadership in the Caribbean. And I just want to emphasize as well that the offerings do not limit us to Jamaica. We look at what happens across the Caribbean, what happens across the world, and assist the students in terms of preparation to take advantage of placement anywhere in the world. What kind of jobs? And easily, you could be the Prime Minister. Dr. Ricketts mentioned, and it is quite likely that the glass ceiling haven't been broken, that you could find yourself in the White House. You could be a member of parliament, a senator. You could be a part of the diplomatic corps, permanent secretary, discussion panelist, civil servant, political analyst, newspaper contributor. So the sky is the limit. There are as many things as the mind can perceive where this course can be of use. The next step would require your enrollment, and the information is on the screen, but I suspect you have it already. And for us, the next step would be to see you in class.
So thank you, Dr. Henry. So we now hand over to Howard Reed, and Howard will speak on political science.
Hi, good afternoon. All right, thank you for that, Dr. Henry. Good afternoon, prospective students and parents alike. All right, so I'll be talking a little bit about the political science program offered in the Department of Government. All right, so the political science program promises to offer students with an understanding of politics. And I don't want you to just to think of politics as only local and regional politics, or that we'll only be focusing on political parties and elections, but we'll also be focusing on international politics and international developments. You'll also learn about the nature of power and governments while building skills in analysis and research. To be more specific, it will offer insights into how leaders acquire and maintain power, how governments and various institutions can be run with efficiency and transparency. In our political science program, you will learn why voters might prefer one political candidate over the other. If you are from Jamaica, you may learn why persons will choose the Jamaica Labour Party over the PNP or the PNP over the NDM, right? Why one political party over another? Why one policy over another policy? The program will also enable students to make informed predictions about elections and provide in-depth analysis of outcomes of election results as well. Another interesting reason to complete this degree, the program is that earning a degree in this program involves learning about both quantitative and qualitative research, data analysis, and statistics. So you may ask yourself, what can I do with a political science degree? Believe me when I say political science degree is a versatile degree, because the knowledge you will gain in this program is fairly transferable. It can springboard a career in not just politics and by extension policy, but also a career path in non-profit work, business, media, communication, or even education. Essentially, the skills gained in the political science program has wide applications in both the private and public sectors. The duration of the program is 3 years for full-time students and 5 years for part-time students, as Dr. Henry had said earlier. The degree awarded at the end is a BSc in political science, and our delivery mode is online and will be face-to-face coming September of the new academic year. So the next step for you is to register, to contact the department, find out as much as possible as you can, get all the information from the department and also the Faculty of Social Sciences. And the next step for us is to see you in class come September. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Thanks a lot. So I will hand over now to Damian Gordon, who will talk on public policy and management.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Damon Gordon. I am an assistant lecturer in the Department of Government. I'm attached to the Public Policy and Management Unit. Today, I will talk to you briefly about our BSc program in Public Policy and Management, formerly known as Public Sector Management. Now, our program has a rich track record of attracting a large number of mature applicants. Currently, we have students who are senior civil servants. We have students who are just ordinary public workers who are interested in furthering or advancing their careers in the public sector. We also have a large number we also have students who are lawyers, we have students who are secretaries, we have students who are police officers, we have students who are firemen. So we attract a wide range of persons who are already working in the public sector, and also persons who are desirous of working in the public sector. Now, we classify the public service to be the highest form of national service. Currently, in the context of the pandemic, we see the importance of public policy. Now, public policy is how the government intervenes to manage or to solve issues that are of concern to all of us. So when we speak of the public policy, when we speak of public policy, we are talking about the broad spectrum of what the government does in the name of administration and also in the name of governance. So it encompasses the health services, it encompasses the education sector, it encompasses national security, it encompasses customs, border management, the fire services, etc. So it is very much all encompassing. The purpose of this program is to really equip students with the theory as well as the practical skills to become effective public policymakers as well as public servants as well. So the purpose of this program is really to provide international perspectives on policy making and policy analysis. So our students will be introduced to the processes and procedures and systems that underpin the public sector in Jamaica. You'll be introduced to the budgeting process, the process of auditing, the structure of government organizations, how they are managed. You'll be introduced to different approaches of public policy making. You know, we're operating in the e-government paradigm, so we're introduced to how e-services are administered in the public sector. You'll be introduced to other processes underpinning public service delivery, such as project management, contracting out, etc. So the purpose of this program is really to train a cohort of future policy analysts as well as public sector leaders. And the program is structured in such a way that it is comparative. So we look at how public administration takes place, not only in Jamaica, but we look at how public administration takes place globally. So you truly get an international feel and an international perspective from doing this program. So We also have a mixture of youth, uh, youth experience, but we're all very much competent and passionate and enthusiastic. Some of the lecturers in the unit have worked in the public sector. They have served as ministers of government, some have served as consultants, but we are all very passionate and ready to welcome you to ensure that this is a truly worthwhile investment for students. Again, the public sector is really that area that allows you to contribute to national development in the most obvious manner, and we are excited to welcome everyone who's interested. And if you are interested, you can speak to me further, and we can discuss preparing you for entry into the program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. And for some of you listening, you may have heard his voice over the last couple months. Mr. Gordon has, or is, I would say, becoming a very well-known public policy commentator. Let me hand over now to Jean-Pierre Murray and Glenville MacLeod, who will speak on the International Relations Program.
Good evening to all of our prospective students. My name is Glenville MacLeod, and I'm assistant lecturer in the Department of Government. Specifically, I operate in the International Relations Unit, and I'm here to speak with you shortly about what the program is all about. So, having heard Dr. Ricketts, having heard Dr. Henry, and both Mr. Reed and Mr. Gordon, what you would have ascertained by now is that the Faculty of Social Sciences is where you should be. That's first and foremost. And I must bring it even closer to home now, where I must implore you that the Department of Government is exactly where you should be, specifically in the IR program. And the reason why I say that is because doing a program, doing the Bachelor's of Science in International Relations allows you to have greater levels of flexibility in terms of what you want to achieve from a job perspective, in the sense that you are exposed to a wide array of courses in areas such as international law, in areas such as international and regional organizations, in areas such as studying features pertaining to contemporary Caribbean politics, and of course, overall international relations. And what it therefore allows you to do, it allows you to have a firmer understanding of more or less how governments operate, how decisions are made, and how key movers and shakers in the world think and more or less construct their particular decisions. Now, the program has a great level of flexibility in terms of being part-time as well as full-time. And so I know a number of you who are listening are working, and so you may be wondering how a program such as this that offers such, programs such as this that has such a great offering, how will it fit into your schedule? But the fact of the matter is that you have both full-time and part-time students. Now, where the job market is concerned for persons who are interested in international relations, there are a number of options available to you, particularly in this public sector or civil service, areas pertaining to things such as a diplomatic service officer, a policy officer, political analyst, international aid or development worker, work in the foreign service. But another key thing about doing a degree in international relations is the exposure that you will receive, particularly to foreign languages, which is a key component in doing this particular program. And on the note of foreign languages, we also have an exchange program, or MPIC program as it's properly titled. And I'll ask Mr. Murray to just speak with you on the MPIC program and features of that program. Mr. Murray?
Great, thanks Glenville for introducing, and thanks for having us sharing with prospective students, parents, and others interested in the office of the faculty and the Department of Government. As Bill mentioned, part of the offerings of the department, and specifically the IR unit, is that students are allowed opportunities for exchange programs. Students have opportunities to visit other campuses with partner universities, because the University of the West Indies has a wide range of partners and allows for students to spend semesters abroad. The program I am introducing, though, which we call the MPIC program, which is short for Masters in Politics and International Cooperation, is an integrated program. So it is less of an exchange and more of a program that is jointly offered with the University of the West Indies, a university in mainland France, and a university in the French West Indies. In order to apply to this program, you need to be enrolled in international relations. So you need to be in the Department of Government, and you need to be in IR. And you need to have a good command of French. So for those of you Francophiles at home, studying French, wondering what you're going to do with this, you have an interest in global affairs, you have an interest in what makes the world work, right? From the domestic to the international, this could be a program for you. So what you would need to do is to enroll in international relations for your first year at UWI, and then during your first year, work hard enough to meet the minimum GPA requirements, make sure that you're passing your French courses, and then you have an opportunity to join this program. It's a program that offers just a wealth of opportunities, both in terms of academic exposure. You would be attending some of the best universities. Certainly the University of the West Indies, one of the best in the region. You'd be attending Sciences Po Bordeaux, which is one of the top political studies institutes in France, and the University of the French Antilles, developing your linguistic competence, bilingual by the end of it. And the job opportunities that are open to you afterwards are incredible. I'm speaking with a bit of bias because I also did this program, and I can tell you that whereas I chose to continue in academia, I have colleagues who are working in various kinds of jobs with international organizations, non-governmental organizations, with governments. So the opportunities are vast. If it is that you're interested in this, then reach out to us at the Department of Government. We can start having that conversation before, but international relations would be the program to apply to and continue with your French. If you've not yet taken CXCs and so on, if you are perhaps still deciding on what subjects to do, and you're just here to get your feet wet in terms of university, then choose French as your foreign language and get the ball rolling. Thank you so much, and we're looking forward to welcome you in the Department of Government. Dr. Ricketts, back to you.
Thank you very much, colleagues from the Department of Government. So prospective students, parents, interested persons, I hope you have been properly excited by the programs offered out of the Department of Government, and that you have a kind of understanding that, you know, or appreciation for some of these kind of well-kept secrets. It's unfortunate that they are secrets. We want to get the word out that they are as valuable and as interesting and as important as the others that are more well-known, such as economics and management and marketing and entrepreneurship, etc. So at this point, I will hand over to my colleagues from the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. But this evening, they will be highlighting more of the programs on the sociology side. When I say the sociology side, I mean out of the sociology unit of that department. And those programs are anthropology, demography, labor and employment relations, and sociology and social policy. So I will hand over now to Dr. Herbert Gale, who is an anthropologist, and he is a violence expert. I think all of Jamaica would know Dr. Gale, and perhaps the region as well. So over to you, Herbert.
Thanks, Dr. Ricketts. All right, so we want to talk a little bit about what we've been doing and why it is that, you know, you really can't be crazy enough to miss the opportunity of joining us here in our department. All right, so I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about 3 of the programs we offer. That is, of the majors we offer: anthropology, sociology, and policy and development. So I want us to begin quickly by looking back at some of the people who started this thing. I'm certain you know names like Weber, Durkheim, and Parsons. So way back in the 19th century, meaning the century 18 plus. And then when you look at the anthropologists, we're talking here about the Franz Boas in the 19th century, the Malinowski in the same century, and Clifford Geertz. You've heard these names because you're on Earth now, right? And of course, we want to talk a little bit about development, which you should know or guess by now, emerged after World War II, when a lot of the countries broke away from England and Spain and wanted to establish their own sense of development. Then policy, public policy and development, and that branch began to grow within the frame of the larger frame of sociology and anthropology. All right, so let me see if I can tell you a little bit about each, and then I'll let you off to my other colleagues. All right, so when we speak about sociology, we're talking really about the interaction within society. So as the word suggests, sociology is a study of society, and we're specifically intrigued and preoccupied with interaction, social interaction among people. So sociology is very broad, and if you look at sociology, if you just pick up a book in sociology, you'll see stuff like industrial sociology, labor, you'll see stuff on political sociology, you'll see all of these branches merging from that. Now, quite often people confuse sociology and social anthropology, because social anthropology is the mother of anthropology, but anthropology has some other branches, like the people we like to nickname the diggers, which are called archaeologists. We also have the linguistic anthropologists, and we have a very large group we call physical and biological anthropologists. All right, and I want to tell you a little bit about what I do. I'm what is called an anthropologist of social violence. It means that in 17 different countries, I have worked and studied to try and see if I can help governments have a better idea of how to reduce violence. So the core of my work would be gang violence, because the LAC, more than half of all our murders here are created by gangs. But I'd also be training forensic anthropology, which is one of the highest paid areas in anthropology, and political anthropology, and physical and biological anthropology. So all of those, you come together, you're able to understand and to help persons understand how to reduce violence. Now, if you look at, we can't leave without talking a little bit about the kinds of jobs you can get when you get into public policy and development, when you get into sociology, when you get into anthropology. So I want to spend a little time starting, of course, with development. Now, if you look at persons who work in development, a lot of them move on to become country advisor, country project managers, policy writers, town planning, and yes, and some people think that town planning is all about the physical. No, it's also about the social, because you want to know what type of neighbors people are going to have and how this is going to keep them stable. If you go to sociology, you find pretty similar high-paying jobs. Consultants, research principals, meaning the person who gets the bulk of the money while the others go and collect the data. I'm very serious. Country advisor, industrial experts, market experts, and lecturers. If you go to anthropology, the highest paid anthropologists, and believe me, folk, you can get there, because I've been asked 4 times to help in this area, excepting I couldn't do so at that time. If I could have, I would have had some money saved someplace, just waiting to happen, you know? But it is writing scripts for people in Hollywood. Let me say it again slowly. anthropologists make a killing, you know that term? Make a bag of money for writing scripts and doing the background to studies, background studies for people who are going to write and set up movies in Hollywood. So if you look at movies like take the one that there's a series going now, Outlander. You can't do Outlander without an anthropologist and a historian. Are you crazy? No, and those people are going to bathe in money for helping the writer to understand these things. You can also look at Jurassic Park. You really can't attempt to put that series of movies together without an anthropologist, a biological anthropologist, and a whole lot of biologists and persons working together. We call those the Albert Einstein children. So quite often we think of development, sociology, anthropology, and we think that all we're going to end up doing is doing some research. Because I've heard students with these things, sir, is the only thing I'm going to do is research? No. I must tell you, anybody who works in any of these 3 areas are going to have a lot of fun in their lives. They're going to have a massive career. They just need to get into the right job. So all I'm doing here is whetting your appetite because you need to come to us so we can create the avenues for you. Remember, it doesn't matter how long you come to a university, that does not provide you with a job. You still have to have some skills of your own and you have to learn to pull them together. But our task is to provide you with the tools to be able to do well when you become a graduate. So we have majors and minors in anthropology, in sociology, and of course in development, in public policy and development. And we invite you, we'll be happy to have you come September. We can't wait to see you. We can't wait to start the bacchanal, as the Trinis would say, or to start the fun, because we would love to introduce you to an aspect of the world. We are the people that explain to the world how to keep humans stable, safe, and productive. Bless up.
Thank you, Herbert. Thank you, Dr. Gill. I will now hand over to Dr. Devonish, who will speak on demography.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, students and prospective students. I'm here representing the demography program. You might be asking, what is demography? And simply put, demography is really the scientific study of human populations. And that just caused a little light bulb to come up in your heads. And you're saying, so demographers are those persons who come around and conduct population censuses every 10 years. And I say, yes, you are correct. Demographers are those persons who come and ask you some very detailed questions about your household composition, how many persons in this household, who's the head of the household, ask you about the marital status of persons in the household, and ask you some very intrusive questions about, your household amenities, if you have toilet, running water, and all of those intrusive things. But demography is more than about censuses. Demography is really the study of population change. And we're interested in studying what we call the dynamics of population change. So our focus is on studying patterns in fertility, patterns in mortality, and patterns in migration within a population. Now, 70 or 80 years ago, when your grandmother was born, she was probably one of 10 children. When your mother was born, she was probably, and this was probably about 40 years or so ago, she was 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4 children. Now, if you reflect on your own situation, you are probably 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3 children. These are some of the things, this is just one area that demographers study, fertility. And this area has tremendous implications for what happens in the rest of the population. So 70 years ago, 50 years ago, the United Nations and countries were focusing on high fertility and trying to explain why is it that in some places fertility is high and in others fertility is low? Why is it that some women have high fertility rates and other women have low fertility rates? And many demographers work in the area of family planning, trying to address this problem of fertility and bringing the levels down. Today, we have a different problem. I'm sure you are sitting there and you're thinking, how many children am I planning to have? And somebody saying, children? I never even thought about that. So today, we have a situation where rather than talk about population growth, many countries are talking about, population decline. And for some countries, even talking about population extinction. Countries like a country like Bulgaria, for example, very low population growth, high migration, and very few people around to do the things that are necessary to keep the society functioning. So this is something that occupy demographers, trying to understand fertility change and fertility behavior. And you might ask yourself, is there really a career in that? And I would say absolutely. If you look in Jamaica, for example, we have a National Family Planning Board, and that is a place where demographers work. At the Registrar General's Department, that is a place where demographers find work. We're also interested in things like mortality and trying to predict what is the life expectancy of persons, how many years will individuals who have certain characteristics live? Why do women live approximately 2 to 3 years longer than men? And why do people migrate? Who is migrating? And the impact that migration is having on our population. So we're not just counting people, we're adding human faces and human experiences and human behavior. And we're trying to understand all of that and see how that impacts on the society in general. So we're looking at migration, we're looking at urbanization, and the areas for demographic analysis and the areas where demographers work are vast. I mean, we have individuals who have been trained in our program who are working in the UN systems, working with the World Bank, working with UNFPA, which is United Nations Population Fund. And more recently, we have a graduate who went to work with the UN in the area of trying to help countries to build the capacity to collect data, to monitor what we call the Sustainable Development Goals. So demographers work in any area that collects data, analyzes data, and tries to use data to inform policy or decision making. A demographer can easily find a job there. Now, there are limited demographers across the Caribbean. Every single person who has ever done demography, and the University of the West Indies, MONA, is the only tertiary institution that offers a full program, a bachelor's degree or master's degree in demography. And any person who has ever done demography has found a job, every single individual. And many of them are working for better salaries than I am. So that should be some motivation, to study demography. You are looking at how does population impact other areas in society and how other areas of life actually affect population. So we have demographers who work in in health. We have demographers who work in education. We have demographers who work as labor market analysts, and trying to understand the factors that influence employment and unemployment. You might say, well, I'm now hearing about this and I've never thought about this before, but I've already had my mind set on doing a degree in economics. Well, that is fine. When you come here at Mona, you can also pick up a minor in demography. And economics and demography work extremely well, because with the decline in fertility over the years, what has happened is that populations globally have aged. We have more old persons, and we have to find a way to deal with this large elderly population to meet their social and economic needs. And this is an area that demographers also worked in and try to find solutions to. Now, when you join our program here at Mona, you'll develop skills that would assist you in data processing and data analysis. You're able to work with, you get exposure in working with computer software programs to analyze data. You get to hone the skills that are necessary for conducting surveys, social surveys. And demography is not just about numbers, because there are other areas that you're training. For example, we have a course called Reproductive Health and Family Life Education. And that helps you to develop these skills to, create different interventions. We also have courses in social marketing, which would help you to develop marketing campaigns to address issues related to health, issues related to migration, or issues related to fertility. So it is a very, very dynamic discipline. Years ago, I had a professor who told me, if you want to travel the world and somebody else pay for you, then become a demographer. Well, here I am. I'm from Barbados. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Devonish. And I just want to say from the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work, how much the training in research and statistics, research methods and statistics that training has been recognized by many of the external quality assurance reviews. And we've got a lot of kudos from external reviewers about the training in research methods and statistics. So before I take Dr. Beckford, who will speak on labor and employment relations, we are actually going to accommodate one of our alumni testimonials, and this will be from Mr. Caleb de Aguilar. He studied the anthropology major with a minor in literatures in English, and I understand he's currently in the UK pursuing graduate work. He's a proud graduate of the Faculty of Social Sciences, and he was our Faculty of Social Sciences valedictorian a few years ago. Caleb, welcome.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been really good to see all the faces of some of my lecturers when I was at UE. Yeah, I mean, I think Dr. Gale already spoke about anthropology and hopefully inspired some of you to take an anthro course, but it's great. I mean, to a degree where you're looking at people and humans and culture, it's really a beautiful thing. And I felt like it's really a privilege as well to gain insight into the lives of people who you wouldn't normally have access to. That's really interesting. There were 5 of us in my year that did majors in anthropology, only 5. It sounds small, but it was great. Like all 5 of us are now doing completely different things. One of us, she went on to do her master's in cultural industries, and she worked at UNESCO, but she now works with the British Council doing development work. She's the arts project consultant. Another one of us, she was more so interested in on the ground work, humanitarian work, and she works for a social enterprise company in Kingston, and she's doing fantastic work, meeting with different leaders of this and that every week. She's gonna go great. And another one of us was really interested in languages, especially Japanese and Japanese culture, and she's now in Japan teaching English, and she's having a great time. And then I was always really interested in the arts and merging anthropology with media and the arts. And so, yeah, I'm now, as you know, you just heard, I'm now in London doing my master's in film directing, filmmaking, directing. And so, yeah, I've been writing and directing for films the past 3 years since leaving UWI. And it's crazy because I think I said that to someone, oh yeah, my first degree was in anthropology. And they were like, oh, well, how do you connect anthro and film? And I was like, listen, anthropology was the backbone for this path that I'm on. It was my interest in cultures and the ways we looked at, you know, medicine or religions and all these things, which I have fueled into my work. And even just looking at these kind of more interpersonal relations, these micro relationships, that fuels my writing. And it's the reason why I decided to tell stories in the first place. And so, yeah, and even if, you know, you end up not doing a degree or a master's in anthropology, use some of your free electives to take an anthro course or some of the other courses that you've heard today, because I promise you, your degree is you spend at least 3 years at UWI, and I feel like you should make those 3 years count. Jean-Pierre talked about an exchange program. You know, I did an exchange program, not his, but I did one. I went to the UK for a semester, taking anthrop courses as well as media courses. And it's really funny because I found that the anthrop courses at UWI were so much better than the ones in the UK. And for a lot of reasons, but one of the main ones was at UWI, I'm studying from people who look like me, and I'm studying text. I'm learning things about my own culture and about people and places that reflect my own identity in a sense. Whereas when you go other places, especially as a Black person or as a Caribbean person, you're often marginalized because you're not in those texts. And so it was really nice to study at UWI and learn from people who had similar experiences that I had and could make the things that I was studying a lot more relatable. And I think I'm going off on tangents, but at the end of it, I just want to say, make your degree count, and really do consider taking an anthropology degree. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Caleb. And I want to just add, I want to add or amplify something which you just said in relation to making your degree count about the use of free electives. And even if you don't take a major or a minor in any of the courses, the programs that you've heard so far, just use your free electives to take a course here, you know, a course in anthropology, a course in political science, a course in IR. See how it feels. Maybe you will be a budding anthropologist or an IR specialist, you know, and things like that. So thank you for that reminder. And I wish you well, Caleb. Good to see you. And I hope that your film work will bring attention to the issues that us Black people, Caribbean people, are grappling with and hoping, you know, the world will have a different kind of interpretation about us. So all the very best to you. Thanks for staying up so late.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Big up yourself, Caleb.
Yes. See Dr. Gale saying to big up yourself.
Hey Herb, what's up?
if you
Bless up.
Yes. Thank you. So let me move on. Thank you again, Caleb. Let me move on to Dr. Beckford, who graciously allowed that intervention by Caleb at this time and not to have Caleb wait until his presentation was over. So over to you, Dr. Beckford. Dr. Beckford, over to you.
Of course, the usual thing, I didn't unmute my mic. Welcome everyone, and welcome to us here at UWI. We are here for you, and we are glad to have you, and we are hoping that we will see you in our lectures at some point in time. We welcome all the parents, children, everyone. We welcome you, and we are looking forward to having you here at UWI. At some point in time. I'm dealing with the BSc Labor and Employment Relations. It's again part Department of Social, but there are so many things that have been said that we won't worry to repeat them. But just to give you something about the Labor and Employment Relations, one of the most marketable sociology major, given it stretches across departments between sociology and management studies, or MSBM, and so on. One of the most marketable sociology major, the course introduces students to the following aspect of sociology and management: research methods. Again, that is common to, it was in government, also in anthropology, also in demography, and so on. Very important, because it means that the society expects us in social science or graduates to be the one that conduct research. And so, like, we are the ones doing the one now for COVID-19 and so on. Development, Gil spoke about development. Industrial society, we are in now post-industrial society. Why is it post-industrial society? Why is it that the current generation are considered the electronic generation? You're born with a cell phone in your hand and so on, and you think differently. You want things to happen immediately. There's what we call a lack of linear. You can't bother with no long thing that will take long to explain. Why? These are something that we have to know. International trade, of course, we deal with the course in it named International Trade and Labor Standards, because we need to know what are the international trade standards, what does the WTO mean to us, and so on and so forth. And we have international, we have accounting, because there are accounting courses in this major. We look at labor standards put out by the ILO. One of the things that one of the courses that is being offered now, which is international trade and labor standard. We are looking at the new labor standard issued by the ILO in the COVID period, how it has changed, how it has affected unions. And so these are some of the issues. Human resource management, speak for itself, industrial laws, industrial relations. Of course, we need more and more of that given COVID-19 and some of the industrial problems that have arisen. There are labor laws, change management, business negotiation, organization theory, and so on. So it is important. This is in your booklet, or will be on the system, the level 1 courses, so you will know what they are. I won't go through them, but they are there, so you could know what are the level 1 courses, what are the level 2, year 2 and 3 courses. The courses such as organizational behavior, a very interesting course that deals with the individual, groups, and the organizational context, because we all become parts of organization. Of course, the stats is always important in terms of for the method, sociology of development, survey design, industrial sociology, where we look at issues such as technology, the importance of it, and I mentioned international trade and labor standard. Year 2, other areas, labor and employment laws, very interesting areas. If you're going to deal with employment relations, you must know labor laws and employment laws, and you must know industrial relations. You also have other courses to choose from: government, international political economy, and they also have political sociology, change management for MSBM, interpersonal dynamic from psychology, because we needed to know both the physical and emotional side of working and business and so on. So, and then we also offer you free electives, because Heather, Dr. Ricketts spoke about those free electives. because you'll be surprised how they come in handy. Sometimes when you're being considered for promotion, they say, let us look at some of the courses that the person did. And so they say, oh, they did organization development. They can work in training. They can work in human resource management. Oh, they did business negotiation. I can have them down in communication. Organization theory and design. Okay, I can have them down in organizational method, and so on and so forth. So it's very important that you choose your elective wisely. So putting learning into practice, the jobs that you have in terms of this major employment relations, your employee relations officer, human relations officer, industrial relations officer, product development officer, security manager, bank manager, insurance manager, a whole host of things, research manager. Then you also have development officer, that you could work at the IDB, the World Bank, the USAID, or the Canadian International Development Agency, CEDA. Procurement manager, you could work as a teacher, because some of us teach CAPE, MOB, Man with a Business, CAPE, Caribbean Studies, and Sociology, because you are well read in these areas. I would also suggest that you do a teaching certificate. And then you have client manager. So as we move on, remember COVID-19 is still on. It is still on. And so while we will do research on what's happening with COVID and employment, COVID and learning, and so on and so forth, that will come out of the social science. Most of the people who are doing these things are from the social sciences. But remember to wear your mask, because COVID is still on. You could get a bank job in the first attempt. She's very glad. Yes, because I know it feels to get that first job after you've been in school for so long. You're so glad. Yeah, and so bank, insurance, wherever it is. And you can work at World Bank agencies like IFAD and International Development Agencies, investing in rural people. And these are very exciting jobs. But once you have done a sociology major, and especially if you did well in that major, the world is your oyster. And then we just finish these two. You can do things like tackling poverty and inequality far, because the World Bank will send you there, IDB will send you there. You can get these jobs, because once you have development as part of your degree and sociological theory, then these jobs are also available to you. IDB increases, this happened recently, COVID-19 responses, funds for DUMREP, and so they would ask people to do the research before they commit those funding. They want the research to be done, and they look to sociology and sociological majors to give some help. And one here, the last one, Jamaica secures 100 million from IDB to fight non-communicable diseases. And so, of course, they would have done the research, because before you see that these things just going on the paper, they would have contacted somebody to, or a team to conduct the research. So courses like employment relations, courses like demography, courses like anthropology, we are here for you, and we offer the world to you as your oyster. So come on board. We look forward to have you. We are always an exciting group. We'll carry out on field trips once the COVID is over, and so you can get to understand and to explore the world. So come along and join us, and we're looking forward to see you. We are happy to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beckford. Thank you very much for highlighting this very important program, Labor and Employment Relations. So we took Caleb, we interrupted you, and we had Caleb. So I will, at this point, hand over to Mrs. Francesca Lloyd McDavid, who is the Marketing Officer in the Faculty of Social Sciences, who will talk to us, will talk to you really, about our weekend programs. So let me invite Mrs. Lloyd McDavid. Francesca?
Thank you, Dr. Ricketts.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, prospective students. I hope you guys are hanging on and staying with us. I just wanted to give you guys a brief introduction to the weekend program. It is a special initiative that the faculty has started, or had started before. And the weekend program is really geared towards adult learners. So individuals who work 9 to 5, who may want to finish or complete their degree or start a degree and complete a degree, but find it very, very difficult to do that with the responsibilities they have with work. So having a 9 to 5 and coming home, that can be a little bit difficult and challenging. So this is a solution that the faculty has implemented for this problem. And all classes are on Saturdays from 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 5. And one of the biggest advantages of the weekend program is that the class size ratio is small. There is also the idea that you are learning with similar professionals. So you will have that space where you can have dialogue with professionals who are within the same area as you and kind of have the same life experiences that you're going through right now. Also, because of COVID, we have all classes are done online, still on Saturdays, but everything is online. And those are a few of the advantages of the weekend program. Some of the courses that are offered under the weekend program includes a Bachelor's of Science in Management Studies, General Management Studies, also Bachelor of Science in Management Studies Accounting, specific to accounting, Bachelor of Science in Banking and Finance, Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship, Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Management, and Bachelor of Science in Marketing. So if these are areas that you may already be in or interested in, and you want to upskill or you want to get that promotion or you want to move in that direction, this is a great program for you to register for, enroll for any of these degree options within the weekend program. And as I had mentioned, classes are on Saturdays, so it speaks to that flexibility of having classes done, and you pace yourself at your pace and your time to do those classes. So that's basically what the weekend program is. Your courses, let me give you information on when you can, the courses. So you have 3 courses that you take in semester 1 and 2, and 2 courses in semester 3, which is what we consider summer. So you're doing your program throughout the year. So semester 1, semester 2, and semester 3, which is considered summer. In Mrs. Bolero Houghton's presentation, she also mentioned the amount. It's $35,000 per course for the weekend program. And if you want any more information on it, you can give us an email at fssweekend@uemona.edu.jm. And I think that is it. So over to you, Dr. Ricketts.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lloyd McDavid. So you've heard about the weekend program, very convenient. You can take it on a Saturday. You don't have to grapple with traffic or with work, just dedicated on a Saturday. And it's really very helpful. So we have another testimonial, and who better for it to come from than Ms. Shanice Gregory, who actually is a student in the weekend, was a student in the weekend program, and she studied the BSc Management Studies with the accounting concentration. So Ms. Gregory, please, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shanice Peter Gay Gregory. I know my middle name is not necessary right now in this context, but what can I say? I like my name. I am grateful for this opportunity to share my experience, so let me get into it. I was invited to share my experience while completing my undergrad studies at the University of the West Indies. Funny enough, when I attended orientation in August 2015, 4 ladies were there to share their experience. I was like, that was cool. I want to do that someday, and here I am. There's a famous quote that says, "It is better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared." And I was saying, no, I was always ready to go up to the podium to speak about my experience, but Unfortunately, we're in the era of social distancing, so we have to be behind the screen. My experience within the weekend program was bittersweet, mostly sweet. When I say sweet, I'm like 95% sweet. Probably it's not even necessary to say bitter because it was a great experience. The lecturers were awesome. Likewise, my schoolmates. The lecturers went beyond their call of duty to assist us in passing our courses. I can recall, wow, I had this course and the course, we had a lot of coursework in the course and it was broken down into so many things that there was a final course that was worth 5%. And in my opinion, I felt that it was too much for 5%, so I decided I was not going to do it. Anyway, the lecturer called me and told me that I need to do this course because it will greatly improve my situation. So I'm like, what am I going to feel? So I hurry up and I did the course. When it was time to get the result, I was so nervous because of what the lecturer said. When I checked my grade, I saw that I got an A minus. I laughed and I said, this lecture is not easy. So when I said they go their way, they go their way. Likewise, my colleagues. So, well, schoolmates. So when I'm at work and like I'm hearing other co-workers speak about their experiences and they're talking about the selfishness that they encountered at their various institutions of studies, I'm like, I don't know if that. Am I attending paradise? Because I have never encountered those experiences. And I must say, I am grateful for that because that was never it. But I guess it's a mindset thing that some of us need to change. And we should help. In my opinion, we should help if we can, not if it is beneficial to us, just help. There are some courses that will have you up late at night, whether at school or at home, but it all takes dedication. It takes dedication and discipline. There's a quote that says, our phrase, if you want good, your nose off a run. So it can be done. It is doable. As I said, it just takes dedication. While attending the university, I had failed 3 courses and I was on the verge of giving up. But the spirit in me that can't give up when I start something wouldn't allow me to, as well as my schoolmates, because they were very helpful. The facilitators were awesome as well. Anything you need, any question you want to ask, they're always available. They had an open door policy. You could go and ask them, you could email them, you could call them, and I will forever be grateful for that. I would suggest, or for want of a better word, recommend this program to anybody, because especially those who have demands in life, because it is convenient, as it was mentioned earlier. Even though you have to sacrifice the whole Saturday, just look at it from the brighter side. It's only one day and you leave while the sun is still shining. That is a plus. So you can still go about your business. The award at the end of the day is worth the sacrifice. Who would have thought that I would now have my degree in accounting? I'm sure many would not have thought that, not even myself. Thanks for having me. Choose University of the West Indies weekend program. Thank you.
So much, Shanice Peter Gay,
Great.
who loves her name. Thank you for that big up and that shout out, for the Faculty of Social Sciences, particularly the weekend program. I could see the enthusiasm, and the joy in your sharing, given the convenience of the program. So thank you so much. At this point, well, we've come to the end of hearing from all of us. So what I want to do now is to hear from those of you who have been listening, prospective students, any parents there, any interested persons. I want to hear from you. Any questions for us? Please, let us have them. We have persons on the YouTube platform who are actually there to answer questions or to provide or to share the questions with us. presenters for us to answer. Any questions? If no questions, or while I wait for questions, let me just ask anybody from the departments to just share an email address, any way of contacting the Department of Government. What's your contact information? Could you just share it again? And the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. Any of you, can you just share your contact information?
Dr. Ricketts, they could write it in the chat, so that
yes, please.
Others who are not here, they could see it if they still want to write and ask questions.
Okay, great. So can you just put it in the chat?
I'm not seeing any questions now in the chat.
Okay.
I just saw a young man earlier, Evangelist, said it is so exciting. He said he wants to come into UE.
Great.
Yes.
So
I am ready for UII. I hope I get accepted. So you have to look out for him.
Okay. Did he say what program?
He didn't.
He didn't.
Evangelist, if you're still there, can you put it in there, Graham?
Yes.
Yes. But I don't see
no questions. Okay. So perhaps the presentations were quite clear, I would say to the persons listening, while I wait for any other question which might arise, I just want to thank them for interest, for having logged on.
Actually, he did. He said international relations.
Oh, great. International
and
relations.
demography. Okay.
And demography.
Yes.
Great. Okay, great. So we look forward to welcoming many of you, if not all of you, to our Faculty of Social Sciences and into the programs that we mentioned. Let me just remind you of something Caleb said. Even if you are interested in something else, let's say you want to come in to do economics. As Dr. Devonish said, economics and demography are natural fits. Take a course, Introduction to Population, see how that feels. And it might spark something, and you may end up doing either a double major in economics and demography, or in economics with a minor in demography, or vice versa. Similarly, you may want to do something, you may want to do IR, but you may want to do social policy out of the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. We have a number of students who do majors and minors across these departments: government and sociology, economics with government, economics with sociology with economics. So feel free.
Yes. Dr. Ricketts,
yes.
Somebody is saying that, could you mention anything about your master's program?
Okay, so all the departments that have been showcased, and also the Mona School of Business and Management and the Department of Economics, all have graduate programs and they all offer up to PhDs. The Department of Economics was the newest kid on the block, or is the newest kid on the block in terms of the offering of PhD programs. So we do have out of government, anybody from government still on? Can you just quickly tell them the programs, the master's programs in the Department of Government? Howard, Jean-Pierre, Dr. Henry?
I'm here, Dr. Ricketts, just a second.
Anyone? Yes, could you just let us know the programs out of the Department of Government, master's programs?
Sure, Dr. Ricketts. So the master's programs in the Department of Government are MSc Government with an International Relations concentration, MSc in International Public and Development Management, MSc Government with a concentration in Comparative Politics or Political Theory, and or an MPhil in Government if you're taking a research track. Also in graduate courses is the Masters in Politics and International Cooperation, but you cannot enter that program at the master's level. You have to start out in the international relations program and apply to the program. So you cannot get directly into that master's program. It's an undergraduate that continues into graduate. But those are the programs offered in the Department of Government at the master's level.
Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. And as you said, for the MPIC program, you really have to be French. You would have had to have a background in French.
Yes, and start out in undergraduate.
And start out in undergrad. Thank you very much. Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work, can you just tell us the graduate programs you offer? Anybody? Dr. Gale, Dr. Devonish, Dr. Beckford? Dr. Gale? Doctor?
I'm here.
Yes.
Right. Well, we offer, of course, a master's degree in sociology, and that offers you options such as you can do the anthropology, or you can do administration and development. So there are options. And then you have the master's also in demography. So that's what we have right now. We're also in the process of making changes. And in fact, we're going to make things far more exciting. And in fact, we're striving to see if we can get the masters to be to just stop you from going abroad to do any master's degree in the area, because we want to be so hot. We're going to be like real pepper pot soup, as my European friends would say. What on earth is this? Is so hot, but it is so nice. That's how we're trying to make the master's program. But currently, we have an anthropology option, and we have a demography option, and we have a sociology option. Those are the core we have right now.
HRD, Herbert, HRD. And
yes, we also have HRD. Thanks for reminding me. HRD program in the master's, which is also very, very enviable program. Actually, one of the most enviable master's program in the country right now.
And that HRD is human resource development. And,
right.
and out of that program, one can go on to do the doctorate in business administration. Is it?
Organizational behavior.
Organizational behavior, sorry. I'm thinking MSBN, but organizational behavior. Thank you very much, Dr. Beckford.
Yes. There's another question here.
Before you go on, Dr. Devonish, I just want him to mention quickly the MSc in demography. Quickly.
Okay, so we have an MSc program in demography. It's approximately about a 2-year program, covering various areas of demographic analysis. We have some very interesting courses there. Social demography, where we look at things like poverty analysis. We have GIS, Geographical Information Systems. And we also have, urbanization as courses within that offering. Of course, along with the technical aspects of demographic analysis, where you do things like projections and life tables, those kind of analyses, indirect techniques.
Thank you, Dr. Devonish. Mrs. Valero Horton, you were asking a question.
I see two questions here. One is, what major or minor is best to study with a major banking and finance? That's one. And the next one is the social work or clinical psychology. Is it offered? I'm not sure. This is the same person who asked about the graduate level. So I'm not sure if it is that level the person is talking.
Okay.
So social work or clinical psychology, if that is available, I think it's at the master's level because it's the same.
Yes. And they both, so the masters in social work and the masters in clinical psychology are both offered out of the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. There's also a master's in applied psychology, along with clinical psychology. So yes, they are offered at the graduate level. In terms of the the major or the minor, a combination with banking and finance, I could see public policy or even social policy. What else can colleagues see? Anybody?
Oh, definitely. I can see
Banking and
demography.
finance. Sorry?
I can see demography.
Yes, okay. Anybody from government?
Yeah, labor.
Labor and employment.
Labor would also be very good, and
yes.
Marketing or industrial anthropology is the combination of anthropology and management studies.
Say that again, Herbert.
I'm saying that a lot
the
of
very
universities we don't offer something called industrial anthropology, which is a combination of from management studies, of a first degree in management studies, and a minor or major in anthropology. You have to have those combined for them to accept you. So if a person is doing marketing or anything at all in management studies, labor, anthropology, demography, all of these are perfect combinations with business and management.
Yes, yes. And I want to make the point that the labor market is a totally different space these days. People are combining anything and they are finding a place in this labor market. It's a much more refreshing labor market now. You know, those scales which were on our eyes that persons had to be either a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian, and chief, those days are pretty much over now. People are doing any kinds of things. Here, Caleb did anthropology. He's gone to do now filmmaking. People are writing stories and they are doing international relations. People are doing law and journalism. I mean, you know, a myriad of combinations. Jean-Pierre, I see you wanted to say, to add.
So I suppose I would say from government, without being biased to IR, I think any of the programs in the Department of Government would be a suitable minor. But outside of minors, I think something that the faculty allows in terms of electives. So whichever of the programs you're doing, you can take electives from across the programs. And I think that will still be an opportunity for you to diversify. I have students in international relations who major in psychology, economics, courses from the humanities, and it really adds an interesting blend to the classes. And certainly later on, as other colleagues have mentioned, when it's time for a promotion, a job opportunity, sometimes they're looking at what are the courses that you took that were outside of your major that are good pairings.
Yes, and that's an important point. And there are also economic historians who start off with, you know, degrees in banking and finance, or start off in history and blend economics with history. Our vice chancellor is an economic historian. Professor Kathleen Monteith in the Faculty of Humanities and Education is also an economic historian, and she's written a lot on the banking sector in the Caribbean, just the history of the banking sector in the Caribbean. So, you know, history even, I would say to the person who has inquired about banking and finance, they can even do a minor in history, you know, so thank you for that. I am being reminded by Dr. Devonish that in the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work, diplomas are offered. There's a diploma in population studies. And just in case, anybody listening, just in case you have a first degree outside of the area of population studies or demography, you can, in 1 year, get a diploma if you want to transition over. It's 10 courses. And if you've done some courses already that are applicable to the degree, then we will, you know, count those out and you could take even less courses. So 10 courses, 1 year diploma. Any other questions or comments? If not,
I don't see any additional question.
Okay, so thank you. So let me, at this point, bring the curtains down on our FSS information session, the best degree options for you. I want to thank all of you who have listened in all of you interested persons, prospective students, parents, whomever you are or were, if you have left us. Thank you for your interest in the University of the West Indies and in the Faculty of Social Sciences. We hope to be able to welcome some of you, if not all of you, into our faculty pursuing some program. It doesn't have to be a major, it could be a minor, or it could be a number of the courses that we offer. So thank you. I want to thank my colleagues who have presented so ably all the programs that we wanted showcased today from the Department of Government and from the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work, and from the weekend programs. Thank you all. I want to remind persons that if you are really interested in joining us, applications close on Sunday, the 31st of January, but I understand that applications will roll over. The close date actually will be the 1st of February, which is Monday. So by Monday, we hope to have all of the applications in so that we can process them early and you have an early admission offer. I want to thank the team from marketing and recruitment and communication led so ably by Mrs. Bolero Horton. Thank you very much, Mrs. Bolero Horton, always for the opportunity to showcase our programs. I want to thank you and your entire team. And I want to thank MITS, particularly Mr. Ishmael Preston. I want to thank him for the technical support for this evening. Thank you all. Is there anything I need to do a final shout out about? Please tell me and I will. Mrs. Bolero Horton?
Ricketts, I think you have done everything that is to be done. And I must say, I am excited about the social sciences, although I am a humanities student, but it's so exciting, so many new careers, as you said, some emerging. So all of you who have not yet watched, you're going to be watching anew. This is an era welcoming you in the social sciences and to the University of the West Indies. Thank you, Dr. Ricketts, for your enthusiasm. And I know you're looking forward as Deputy Dean, you have to do with student matters and so on. So you will look forward to those students, you're answering their questions or helping them to solve problems. So thank you again. And I think we can just say thanks to everybody. Remember, as Dr. Ricketts reminded you, please put in your application. You can always change the information after, but we need you to put in the application before by January 31. And, you know, we give you that extra day because it is a Sunday. So put in your application. Remember, if you're an adult and you're out of school, you have your CSEC and CAPE. We need you to scan and upload a copy, but you can get it certified by the admission section or any of our open campus sites. For the high school students, it is your school which will need to certify those certificates for you. And if you are sitting any exams coming up, we would like you to put them on your application as well. So if you're sitting in CAPE 2021, put in the subjects as your pending subjects. And if you are in an institution already and you want to come over to us, you also indicate whatever is your pending area that you're going to get the certification from. So I think that's it. And remember to apply, to start looking about how you are going to be paying for your degree. Remember the institutions, check them out, go on the web, research where they have scholarships and bursaries, and start talking to your employers if they're there to see what scholarships and bursaries they have for you if you are going to study and what areas they would help to promote or to sponsor you for. Thank you again, everybody, and we look forward to welcoming you to an exciting UWI and an exciting Faculty of Social Sciences. All the very best to you. Keep safe, because we want to see you come September or in August. Thank you.
Thank you again. So keep safe and keep well. Looking forward to welcoming you. Thank you and have a good evening.